This pre-funnel clarity process is quietly driving five-figure sales weeks for service-based businesses in a time where funnels are getting more complex, more automated, and more expensive while conversions are dipping to an all-time low. But actually, it's a lot simpler than what you know right now when you understand how to apply these three pre-funnel rules. So if you're a service-based business looking to drive more conversions without complicating your marketing, you're going to want to binge this episode. Now, hey, and welcome back to the Business Real Talk. In the last episode, we talked about the power of angled repetition and how using strategic repetition, not just copy and paste messaging, is what actually cements your method into your audience's mind and makes your message so sticky that your audience becomes obsessed with you. Now, if you haven't already checked that one out, definitely cue it up next or go take a break and listen to it first because it sets the foundation for how we're going to continue on today. Because today, we're going to go deeper into a belief that way too many experts still hold on to, that their funnel is the problem. I call this funnel fixation, the belief that you're just one tiny funnel tweak away from everything finally clicking. One new headline, one new high converting lead magnet, one AI generated email sequence. But here's the truth. Your funnel isn't broken. It's just delivering a method that isn't set up to convert. And if what you're delivering inside that funnel isn't instantly clear, compelling, and easy to say yes to, no amount of optimization is going to save it. Think of it like this. It's like doing your makeup in the dark. You can keep applying, contouring, and blending, but if you can't clearly see what's going on underneath all those layers, they're just building on top of each other and creating something that just doesn't work, like a hot mess. The funnel is the tool, the vehicle for your method to be seen. It's not the strategy. It's just the mirror and the brush, like when you're doing your makeup. So it's what you put into that funnel that determines the results you're going to get. If your method isn't clear, if your audience doesn't instantly get it, want it, and see how it's different, then no funnel in the world can fix that. And when that happens, your funnel becomes a really fancy way to automate confusion. So in this episode, I'm going to show you those three pre-funnel rules that every high converting service-based business is using right now. Even if their funnel is super simple, even if they're not running ads, even if they're barely using automations. Because when you apply these three rules, you don't need a 27-step funnel. So let's backtrack for a second and talk about how the hell did you even get here, going from sensible expert to part-time funnel hacker and full-time marketing ninja? Because nobody, and I mean nobody, sets out to build a business just to spend their days duct taping tech, obsessing over open rates, or binge watching YouTube tutorials on Zapier automations, yet somehow we all end up here. Why? Because somewhere along the line, we were sold the idea that the funnel is the fix. That if you stack the right steps in the right sequence with the right tech, boom, clients on demand. We believe that the funnel will solve the problem. But here's the catch. What you really want isn't a better funnel. It's the outcome that a better funnel promises. Things like buyers who show up already sold, no endless nurturing, no drawn out sales process, where you're able to charge premium prices with zero pushback, having consistent high quality leads who choose you, not ones that you have to chase, less following up and more signing on, and to finally stop selling and finally be selected. And because those outcomes feel just out of reach, you keep chasing the next mechanism, the next hack, the next promise in a prettier package. The shiny new mechanism that undoubtedly rears its head every few months promising it's the solution. 1 minute, it's a podcast funnel. That's all the rage right now. Next, it's a low ticket funnel back in style, or a book funnel, or a book a call funnel. And then someone just starts to swear by some sort of short 4-minute VSL funnel. And then finally, the DMs funnel steals the spotlight. Each one is framed as being the only answer. Each one promises more ease, more leads, and more conversions until it doesn't. Because when the results fall flat, what's the advice? Tweak the funnel, change the headline, add another email, try a different offer, run more ads, switch up the CTA. All roads lead back to funnel tweaking, not because it works, but because that's all you've been taught. But if you're consistently having to fix the funnel, maybe the funnel isn't actually the thing that's broken, because here's what no one tells you. A funnel is just a vehicle, a mechanism. It delivers your method and a message on a silver platter, but it doesn't fix them. So when it doesn't convert the way you hoped, it's easy to blame the funnel, but it's not the funnel that failed. It's what the funnel was built around that determines whether or not it's going to work or not. So most people might be spending their time tweaking the delivery system without ever questioning what they're actually delivering. That's why funnels get the blame, when it's never actually the mechanism's fault to begin with. A funnel is just a trailer. It's the actual movie that you watch, aka your method, that if that's boring, confusing, or outdated, it's not going to matter how incredible your trailer is. No one's pressing play, and definitely no one's watching the whole thing. Now, let's break it down, because the funnel is simply the amplifier and it's going to echo whatever you put into it. If your method is fuzzy, you're just going to spread that faster. So if you've gotten to that point where you've poured everything in to building your masterpiece offer, masterclass training, everything, that you're ready for the world, and you think that they're going to come running, but instead you're met with crickets, low engagement, or confused leads, it's because the problem isn't your funnel, it's what fuels it. So when you get this right and your incredible work is met with enthusiasm and messages that say, where have you been all my life? This was life-changing. Your offers start to feel like a perfect fit because your method frames the problem in a way that no one else does, and your funnel is simply delivering that on a silver platter. And your conversion rates, they jump up high because you don't just see that you want the outcome, they want your way of how you get them there. See, it's the kind of connection where clients become raving fans who happily tell their friends, turning your work into a movement instead of just a business. So to get that, you're not going to follow another tweak, template, or tactic. You need a method that is so crystal clear, so bingeable, so valuable that people want to follow before they even realize they're being sold to. Okay? When your method is undeniable, your funnel makes conversions inevitable. That's why we created the funnel fuel, the 3 essential rules that turn even the simplest funnel into a sales machine. So let's break down these 3 funnel fuel rules and how they work, starting with the first one, speaking to the highest value desires of your highest intent buyers. Now, have you ever shown up to a backyard picnic wearing high heels? And yeah, you look freaking fabulous. You're totally out of sync with the vibe of what's happening. See, you start to feel out of place. Your heels dig into the mud and your feet are killing you by the end of the day. That's what it's like when your funnel is attracting people who aren't actively looking for what you offer, or they just don't feel the urgency to solve their problem right now. So if your funnel is filled with people who aren't actively looking for what you offer or don't see why it matters right now, you're not going to convert no matter how persuasive your call to action is. Your method must call in people who are trying to solve the problem you solve right now, the ones who already feel natural urgency and have a desire, by speaking to their highest value desire. So let me break down what a high value desire looks like by giving you an example. Let's say that you're a career coach and you work with people to support them in finding their dream career. Now, a low value desire might be, I want to feel more confident at work. See, that's nice. It's vague, and lots of people might say this, but it's not actually what drives them. It's not what they're going to invest in right now. They might browse your content, they might watch your free videos, but they're never going to take the leap. Versus a high value desire is something that drives action. Let me give you an example. I need to land a promotion in the next 3 months to secure my financial future and provide for my family. It's urgent, it's specific, it's tied to a true outcome and something that people actually need. These are going to attract the people who are actively searching for solutions. They're ready to invest and they're knocking on your door. So if your messaging is speaking to low value desires, you're going to consistently attract a crowd that's curious and not committed, and leads who are going to consume endlessly, but they never actually convert. So instead, when you target the high value desires, you're going to pull in buyers who have skin in the game. Those people who see your solution as the missing key and they're ready to take action. That's the difference in the gap between a list full of passive browsers and a pipeline packed with eager buyers. So now let's move on to the second rule of the puzzle, which is revealing the real solution gap. Now, I want you to imagine that I hand you a map to a treasure chest, okay? But the problem is the map only shows half the route. So you're super excited, but no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try to follow that map, you're never going to find the treasure chest filled with gold, right? That's what happens when your messaging talks about an outcome, but it skips the reason why every other fix has failed. So your audience already knows what they want when we're speaking to high intent clients and their high value desires. The problem is they're confused, they're overwhelmed, they're consuming so much information and trying to solve solve that problem, they're confused and frustrated why everything they're trying or everything they're seeing isn't working. Okay. Your method needs to shine a light on what I call a solution gap, that overlooked piece that bridges their desire and the results they crave, because action is simply a reaction to clarity. So let me repeat that, because action is a reaction to clarity. So if you want people to move, you need to be able to give them the clarity of why nothing else has worked so far. This is where ahas turn into I need this. It's what actually allows people to say, maybe at some point I should solve this problem, to why didn't I find you sooner? It creates natural urgency for them because they're finally clear on what the heck is going wrong, and they feel excited about taking that action. So when you explain the real reason that their current path isn't working, and you do it with empathy, authority, and insight, you instantly become the only option that makes sense. So let's walk you through an example. Let's say that you're a weight loss coach and you discover that most clients aren't struggling because they don't know how to eat healthier. Instead, they're battling with emotional triggers, the ones that no one else talks about. Now, because you've identified that hidden gap and you can speak to why they're trying everything and it's not working, and you address that hidden gap, you now become the breakthrough for clients in what they've been searching for. So it makes your offers naturally irresistible. So you can see that I do this in every single piece of content I create, whether it's this episode or my bingeable series. I break down for you exactly why the things you're doing aren't working. I create that space for a solution gap that allows me to easily plug in my solution to solve for that gap, which leads us to step number 3, or rule number 3, offering a clearly defined method that bridges that gap. Now, your offer isn't just a list of features, sessions, bonuses, deliverables, right? It's the manifestation of your methodology. Because when someone's standing in the middle of that solution gap that we talked about in rule number 2, they're too smart to fall for the fluff. They're too burned to take another risk. They don't want hype. They want to understand, they want clarity, they want to know exactly how your approach is going to be different than the last thing they tried or every other thing they've seen in front of them. Why is this method going to work when nothing else hasn't? So if your method isn't clearly articulated, if your method isn't showcasing that solution gap and how you solve it, your offer won't feel valuable, okay? No matter how many stacked bonuses, client wins, or testimonials you add, you'll always be fighting to be just another option instead of being seen as the only choice, because people are buying certainty. And certainty comes from a method that clearly explains how you solve the exact problem that they've been stuck in a new and innovative way. So when your method directly bridges the gap in a way they've never seen before, you no longer have to sell. Your funnel starts doing the heavy lifting for you. So it's the difference between saying, hey, you get 12 coaching calls, 3 bonus workshops, and a Slack access, versus we use a 3-phase proprietary framework that reverses burnout by rebuilding your internal capacity, reprogramming your response to pressure, and integrating high performance habits that stick even when life gets chaotic. One sounds like a calendar invite, and the other one makes you feel like the solution is already in motion. This is the only thing I've been waiting for. So if your funnel isn't converting the way that it should be, I want you to take a second. I want you to stop and ask yourself, is it the fact that do I have the 3 rules of funnel feel already working in my favor? Or am I trying to slap some paint on something that's not actually working? Because it's not that your offer isn't good enough. It's not that you need to upgrade to some newer, fancier, more advanced funnel. It's because the value of your method isn't obvious enough. And that fuel behind the funnel needs to be able to follow the 3 rules that I've shared. So when you articulate your methodology in a way that speaks to high intent values of your high intent buyers, and then it identifies and speaks directly to that solution gap, it makes your methodology the solution for what's happening. Your funnel stops being a pitch and it starts becoming the proof that you can create 5-figure weeks in a service-based business. Now, this is just one piece inside of the EZS method, and there's 3 key pieces to it. It starts by winning the market, because your best clients, the ones who already want to buy right now, aren't looking for the same take on another thing, right? They're searching for a breakthrough that makes them say, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. So while most businesses are fighting for attention, having to market more, having to chase leads, smart experts are making their competition irrelevant. This is the how. We use our innovation gap methodology. This allows us to uncover, articulate, and connect the dots between your innovative approach by allowing us to see the gaps in the market that only you can fill. flow. This means you're not just another option, you're the only option for high intent buyers. And instead of chasing and convincing, you create demand where high end leads are seeking you out and instantly see your value and invest without hesitation. This step alone has allowed my clients to 5 to 10x their prices, have clients lining up to work with them. Now, the next step, and once you have your innovation gap methodology, is turning your innovative method into a bingeable decision system. So I want you to think of how Netflix gets you to sit down and binge watch an entire series without taking any breaks, and you become a diehard fan. Now imagine your buyers did the same thing with your business, with your methodology, where they binge their way through your sales system, and with every episode, they become obsessed, selling themselves on you every single step of the way. We call this the bingeable decision system, and it works by mirroring the natural decision process every human goes through, so buyers can binge their way through your sales system, coming out so eager, so ready to work with you that they beg to get on your calendar and join your program. No more chasing, no more months of back and forth and feeding your audience so much content your brain hurts. Just a simple system that gets your leads to sell themselves. Now, the third and final piece is about actually delivering on the promise you made, because sustainable businesses understand that marketing alone is not enough. You have to be able to deliver on your promises and create raving fans. This is why we've built what we call our happy client machine, the systematic approach to delivering world-class results to your clients at scale without being fully reliant on you. So you have clients who are singing your praises to anyone they meet while being able to actually enjoy your life. This is the power behind the easiest method. Building your business systems, strategies, and innovation to take your industry and the world by storm so you become the most talked about and bought from experts. So if you're an action taker, you want to see how the easiest method could be applied inside your business, I want to invite you to jump on a growth optimization call. On this call, what we'll do is we'll sit down, we'll review your approach for getting consistent clients, and we'll specifically share how to position your work so people are chasing you down. So only then, if we believe the EasyS method can be a solution for you, we'll show you how you can turn your expertise into a bingeable masterpiece. So if you're ready to apply for your call, head on over to easyesleads.com/call. But if you're new around here, or you want to learn a little bit more about how the EasyS method and the Netflix effect actually works to get leads to sell themselves, I want to invite you to check out our on-demand mini series that shares the exact 3 steps that get your leads to sell themselves. You can check it out anytime by heading on over to thenetflixeffect.com. Now, as always, I hope you've walked away from this episode with clarity around what it actually takes to build a funnel that drives conversions, that creates 5-figure weeks in your business without having to chase people down, without having to tweak it 100 million times and finding the next best thing. So I hope that you walk away from this episode with those major ahas. And if you have, I would appreciate if you could take 1 minute out of your busy day to go rate, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. But until next time, here's to keeping it real.